And this new chief of the general staff, Andrei Ignatov, who was literally appointed yesterday, Bargalevich was sent to the general inspection of the Ministry of Defense, and now Andrei Ignatov. How would you characterize him? Is he one of ours or not?
Obedient, very obedient young fellow indeed. Who knows, perhaps they have a good relationship with him. His behavior model is somewhat arrogant. He doesn't really pretend to be something great. He doesn't put on airs. The way he conducts himself, his behavior model is, how should I put it, quite captivating in a certain way. It's not just charming, there's an allure to it that draws people in, making them want to know more about him and his unique approach to interactions. But that doesn't make him good, literally, as a commander, unfortunately, because he loves authority the most. And that's why he's already a young general. Yes, that is, he made his career under Sodol. He's Sodol's favorite. And he was appointed when Sodol was, to put it mildly, removed under the influence of public resonance, and he was placed in Sodol's position. There and then at that very moment I was absolutely under his direct and undoubtedly unwavering command in the region of Atu Kherson when we were assaulting the Kherson-Berezovsky bridgehead area. Well, it's hard for me to describe the quality of command at that time in literary terms. Literally. I won't voice a multitude of matters at this specific point in time while the war is still ongoing, but indeed, truly and undeniably, the low quality of command and what it did was simply terrible. And it cost us thousands of lives. Thousands. We shattered their incredibly well-prepared, highly assault brigades, just headfirst into a concrete wall. Just headfirst into a concrete wall. Because we were commanded by a good guy who was indeed a truly good person, a genuinely kind-hearted individual, but not a commander at all indeed, then on Khortytsia, as long as he managed there until he was replaced by Drapatov. A year probably, right? The same thing? That is, he turned out to be no better than this same Sodol, yes. Exactly. That's why he's like a gentle calf that suckles from all the cows volunteers get along with him, meaning he behaves humanely, but as a commander, he's zero. So he's a good guy. I have a bunch of friends, I don't know, several hundred guys like that, with whom I would gladly embrace, including in the army. But, you know, among them there aren't that many who can be a good commander. Or chief of the general staff. That's how he is.
Look, in this situation or context, how do you, in your opinion and perspective, feel about Maryana Bezugla, who very harshly and strongly criticizes the generals and in principle raises such waves of very harsh criticism? Because I even look at the audience's reaction, and many, of course, are shocked by what you are saying.
Yes? What's there? Well, the military doesn't because they know all this. But they keep quiet because barking here is unnecessary. Look, Maryana, you know, 90% of what she says is the truth. But the problem is whom she is promoting. For her, the exemplary good commander is someone like Maizuk or Budanov, for example. She stated this directly. I think she mentioned someone else, but it doesn't matter, Maizuk or Budanov. Maizuk, I repeat, and Budanov as well, are among the most despised generals in the army for their attitude towards blood, for their arrogance. Budanov doesn't behave like that in any way. He doesn't have that pretentious appearance at all, like a sergeant with a thin... And Maizuk is like... Maizuk is indeed a tyrant, a classic tyrant. And when Zaluzhny said, "I don't like tyrants, I keep them at bay," he was being hypocritical because his closest assistant, whom he took on, was Maizuk, who is indeed the very tyrant. And Budanov, firstly, he is incompetent. As an intelligence officer, he is incompetent. As the head of the GUAR, he turned the GUAR into a PMC. A kind of PMC often referred to as, plus everyone knows that he is corrupt. And very corrupt at that. He amassed a significant amount of resources and assets, supposedly for military purposes. But who has truly accounted for it? How much goes where? That's it. In short, Budanov has a very negative reputation in the army, specifically in the army. Various volunteers might sigh, gasp, and occasionally express surprise when he invites them to talk, and sometimes even pause to think. Well, he's a tall, handsome guy, a special forces soldier, who actually fought and really left Crimea after shooting a couple of security officers as a group commander. But that's a group commander, a group of 8 people. I know several hundred people like that. many of whom I encounter regularly. That's not a reason to make them the head of the Main Intelligence Directorate. There you go. Or something like that. This means that Budanov's appointment as the head of the Main Intelligence Directorate reminds me of this scenario. A bank is traveling, or rather a bank vehicle, carrying some money somewhere, with a courier inside. And then some bandits suddenly and unexpectedly attack him, and he shoots back very effectively, and as a result, the bank arrived, and then the board of directors gathered. Or rather, the shareholders. We have the best bank employee, he's the courier, and they made him the bank manager. But he's damn a courier. And no matter how much gold they hang on him, he won't develop strategic and operational thinking. And generally understanding what it is. He actually really turned this bank into, a courier company. More precisely, a cash and transit company. Instead of a bank, so they transport valuables there. They do what they know how to do. So, Madam Crazy, Bezugla, that was actually an unintentional slip of the tongue. I really, really don't like such slips. Bezugla believes that Meshuk or Budanov represent the future army. This means she doesn't understand what she's saying. She listens to how this one is bad, that one is bad, why they're bad, so she's like, a repeater, she retransmits it, but she draws conclusions. It's laughable and sad. For example, if I were asked at this very moment whether to keep Syrsky or appoint Budanov, keep Syrsky or not appoint Meshuk. Despite my negative attitude towards Syrsky, I would honestly, personally keep Syrsky. That's it. And she wants to replace him with Budanov and Meshuk.
A logical question in this situation. Is there anyone in the army who respects him? Or is it better not to talk about it until the war is over? Well, any generals who are respected and admired?
Yes, of course. But Drapaty. Drapaty is generally authoritative. Among the generals, there's also Krasilnikov, by the way, who was quite respected. But not everyone. I kind of evaluate him as a good person and a decent general. That is, let's say I would rank him among the top 5. But considering that we have a trash level of generalship, even the 5th general is better replaced. There you go. Despite all the other 200. There you go. And Drapaty, yes, well, no questions at all. It's truly indeed a significant mystery to me how he somehow managed to become a general in this system of negative selection. Just a mystery. Well, now he's the commander of the ground forces, and it's obvious that his appointment was under, electoral influence. That, some positive appointment needed to be made. To make something to somewhat dampen the situation, like the supreme leader is still concerned about personal changes, improvements. Well, you see, Krasilnikov was removed. Supposedly he was apparently guilty of something there. Kursk or I don't know. I don't know in detail why Krasilnikov was removed. In his place, they appointed a complete failure as the deputy commander of the airborne forces. A complete failure, just a battalion disposer. Well, it's better for him to sit in Chernihiv and stay away from the troops. Shuffling papers and intensely glaring at the staff clerks is often better than being with the troops. So I actually see the appointment as, in fact, kind of somewhat of a positive. The army at the front, in a well-planned and well-thought-out, deliberate and strategic manner, in a straightforward manner, got rid of one tyrant and butcher by promoting him. Well, not a promotion, it's an equivalent position as deputy commander of the airborne forces and commander of the command post. Or maybe it doesn't matter. I'm not very familiar with these ranks.